r/AskReddit. What's something we all just pretend no one does, but in truth we know we all do it? Panic clean before guests come over to then apologize for the mess. Until you start having no panic, then you stop cleaning. It follows that you stop apologizing for the mess, and finally you stop having visits. Depression doesn't count, lol. Kids hide their profanity from adults, and adults hide their profanity from kids, because both sides must maintain the illusion that the other side doesn't know that they know profanity. I still remember vividly the first time I heard my 13-year-old boy loudly exclaim duck through an open window. He was carrying groceries in, and dropped a gallon of milk on the pavement. It was proper usage, and I couldn't bring myself to yell at him over actual spilled milk, so here we are. One of my then 8-year-old twins surprised me in front of several adults one day. For the longest time, when an injury was narrowly avoided, I would ask my kids, "What's rule number 1? Don't die." They would gleefully respond. This time, young River instead responded, "Ducking live." Again, he had a very energetic smile. Then I recalled saying that to them once when talking about my deceased brother and how much I missed him. LOL. I had no recourse, and made no reprimand nor correction. Welcome to the new rule number 1. Read messages from the notification bar then pretending you didn't see the message only much later. I occasionally turn off my Wi-Fi and data, read the message, close the app and then turn data Wi-Fi back on. It seems to work. I got to ask, at that point, why not turn off read receipts? Recently I had to insist that my wife knocks loudly and waits before opening my son's bedroom door. I really had to explain why FFS. I know he's constantly jacking off, but he would be mortified if anyone knew, especially his parents. I was hanging out late at my brother's house when his sons were 13 and 15 but also shared a bedroom. The kids had all showered, gone to bed. Then the bedroom door opens and the 15-year-old heads into the bathroom. My brother says, "I just don't get that boy. Seems like every night he takes a shower, goes to bed, then gets up and takes a 20-minute shit." To this day I still don't know if he was so willfully ignorant or making a low-key joke. Maybe he had truly forgotten what being a teenage boy was like. Does it take 20 minutes for a teenage boy to jack off? Kid might actually be shitting. Reading comments texts multiple times after posting them, just to let the fact that you're modern day Shakespeare settle in. The amount of time I spend looking at my own posts messages and pretend that I'm an outsider looking in is embarrassing. Only to discover you left out an important word and the whole meaning of your post just. Picking your nose. There are two types of people in this world. People that pick their noses, and liars. No, two types of people. Those who pee in the shower and those who lie about it. Picking your nose and finding that rude bug that feels like it's attached to the base of the brain. One of the best feelings in the world. I just had deviated septum surgery in October. You have no idea the satisfaction of those first few monsters finally working their way out of my slowly healing passages and my nose suddenly feeling wide open. I mean, maybe you do. It's a pretty common procedure. Making up conversations in my head before something important. Like I will say this and then the response from other person might be this. Sometimes it can go for 10-15 minutes before I snap back to reality. Especially arguments. I can have both sides of an argument with someone all by myself in my own head. This is why I spend so long in the shower, lol. Just stand there going through potential arguments in my head and how I'd win them. If anyone asks why I was in the shower for 30 minutes though, I'd never say so. Also, the arguments IRL never really go how they did in my head. I'm a lot smarter and wittier when I'm arguing against myself. Winning fake arguments in your head. Hey, it's better than losing a fake argument in your head. I lose arguments in my head all the time. It helps me rethink my perspective. Deliberately delay responses to text messages and emails, even though it would be convenient to reply. Especially when it would be at a suspiciously late hour. I'm a night owl. At least email has a delay send option. So do text messages. At least on Android phones, you can schedule to send a text. Saved me so many times. Because I'm horrible at remembering to text people on their birthdays. I'll remember the day before that so and so has a birthday tomorrow. Then tomorrow comes and I get busy or distracted and forget to actually send the text. So, I schedule a text to arrive the next day, late enough that I'm typically awake and texting, but early enough that it's clearly one of my first texts of the day. Also, I make sure to select a weird minute to send. 8:33 not 8:30 on the dot. Intrusive thoughts that make us question whether we're secretly psychopaths. Everybody has those, right? Our brains are association machines. It's not a big deal, it just means we see the possibilities. Fart in public. I was at Home Depot a few months back and I was walking down an aisle and another dude was walking down that same aisle towards me. When he realized I would be walking where he just was, his exact words were, "I about just shit my pants right over there. Maybe give it a minute before you head that way." I've never been so appreciative towards a complete stranger. That's real looking out for your fellow man right there. We've all been out and unknowingly walked through someone else's fart, or had someone else walk through ours. 10 years ago my boyfriend and I had just started dating and we decided to take a trip together. We were late to get on our flight so I ended up sitting in front of him instead of next to him. Southwest. As we taking off I feel my stomach rumble and realize I'm going to have a bad case of the altitudes. I proceed to blow ass almost the entire flight. As soon as we get off the plane my BF starts complaining about how someone farted the entire flight. He was so mad and I didn't have the heart to tell him that it was me. Instead I waited to tell him that secret on our 1-year anniversary. We had a good laugh about it and now he calls me Toots. This is fantastic. Fantasize about doing someone you shouldn't. Driving home in a good mood, looking forward to dinner. My brain, you could just drive over all those people on the sidewalk. Nah, that would ruin dinner plans. Let's just be normal for now. Sometimes it baffles me how easy it is to throw our lives away. I don't know if we all do it, but open a card and pretend not to see cash fall out while reading the card. Haha. Gotta hit him with the or write a card. Let's see what it says. Look up words that people use because we don't know the meaning even though we pretend to when they are talking. Like, I know I'm using the word in the right context, but if someone was to ask me what it means, I could not tell them. I took an ADHD screening test and they asked approximately 1 million questions that felt like an IQ test. I'm decent with vocabulary but she hit me with palliate. I left feeling real stupid. Making up fake scenarios in our head. I have literally cried over scenarios that weren't real. I was digitizing some old cassette tapes of my mom singing a while back, and thought I'll probably play this at her funeral one day. Sobbed hard for like an hour. Judge other people. This should be one of the top replies. We all are constantly in judgment of everything everyone else does, says, wears, looks like, everything. I've learned to talk myself out of it with mantras like not my life or if they're happy. That's all that matters, but it doesn't stop the thoughts. Assume you are above average intelligence. I usually assume I'm either the most galaxy-brained human to have ever lived or a complete dumbass. It really depends on the day and on what I'm doing. Assume you are above average intelligence. When I was a younger person, I used to think I was way above average intelligence. But the older I get the dumber I feel. Now I'm sure I was always a dumb shit. Oh well, guess I'll go have a snack and take a nap. Procrastination. I was going to say that, but I waited too long. Convincing yourself in your head that everyone around you is doing things perfectly and at full efficiency and expect the same of the people around them. No, just me? I feel like I'm a moron that is just hiding my uselessness very well. Perfectionism. I know it well. My psychologist said there were 3 kinds of perfectionism. The kind you demand of yourself, the kind you demand of other people, and the kind you assume people demand of you. It's the last that is particularly harmful, and very very often not true. Scratching your crotch. Pinch and twist. When you go into an aisle in the grocery store and you see someone in front of the object you're looking for, so you pretend you're getting something else all while hovering near them waiting for them to leave that area so you can get said object. Talking to ourselves. Apparently this is considered very healthy. Great. that makes me feel so much better. Tell small lies, particularly to make us and others feel better. I know a few people who can't tell a story without the reflex of making it just a bit spicier than it really was. I chalk it up to poetic license. There's a difference between telling a story and rendering a report. Thinking about embarrassing moments. I will find myself having flashbacks to stupid shit from primary school like 2 decades ago and reliving that. Like, bro, you're probably the only person who even remembers. Let it go. That is probably the case for like 90% of the things you think about, but then I also only remember some people by the embarrassing things they did. Remember Johnny from preschool? Oh yeah, the kid that shit his pants on the playground, and my entire memory foundation of how I view Johnny is that he shit his pants. I wonder how many people only remember me by my embarrassing moments. I'm sure there's actually a term for this, but the thing you do when you're upset or hurt and then attribute it to something that feels more respectable to be upset about. Like instead of crying because you're mad that someone forgot your birthday, spirals into the long history of wrongs that person has made. Because it's embarrassing to say that you just wanted to be a special boy for a day. Happy birthday, bud. We think that we are special. Well, I actually have proof I'm special. My mommy said so. Men pee on shit stains stuck to the toilet bowl. The more stubborn the stain, the more pressure we use. Bonus point if you hit it with the initial impact of the jet. Fart in public. No, I would never fart in public. In fact, I don't even have a butt. Look at the bowl after we poop. It's actually pretty important to at least glance at it. You might notice parasites, blood, pale poop, etc. You can spot unhealthy feces just from looking at it, and trust me, if you have something wrong with your poop, it's best to find out sooner rather than later. Kicking the ice cube that fell under the refrigerator, so we don't have to pick it up. It's all ice under the fridge at this point. Surely water under the fridge by now. Daydreaming about childish shit. No. When you ask what I'm thinking and I say nothing when you saw me zone out, I wasn't literally thinking of nothing. For that minute I was a race car driver or an astronaut. Yes, I've made plans in my head on how I would go about trying to weigh my own head, or how much I'd like to just wail in that crying baby's face to see how it would react. No, I'm not going to say that when you ask me to my face. I'll lie and say nothing. Say nothing of importance, or hit rewind till the last vaguely important plot point to say I was thinking about to save face. Lying about watching a video or seeing a meme someone sent you by text because you can't be bothered at the moment. Pretending you haven't already seen that meme your so just sent you. Coming up with the perfect comeback in your head long after the other person left. Smell our own body odor. Secret playlist of songs you don't want anybody knowing you're into. Get enraged at the things a bully did 40 years ago. Smell your own fart and not hate it. Make snap judgments about people based on their appearance. This could be anything from race, gender, age, clothing, hairstyle, facial appearance, etc. We make these judgments before we have time to think about it. It's almost instant. None of us like to talk about this because some of these judgments are controversial. I've read someone say to not judge yourself on your first thought about a person, but by your second. Your first thought is instinct or society telling you what to think. Your second is who you actually are. Have a full conversation with your pet. I can't be the only one. V. We all know you sign up for the free trial and cancel it before it's over. It's okay, I do it too. Why are all the responses about shit, urine and farts? Because Reddit's user bases. Talk to our pets and imagine their responses. Use Q-tips to clean ears. We all know it's bad and you're just hurting yourself in the long term. But damn, does it feel great to scratch those itchy, dirty ear canals. Take shits. It's something the vast majority of us do at least once a day, and could not be more natural, yet it's so taboo. I know people who almost shit themselves at school avoiding being known as the person who used the toilet for what toilets are for. Masturbate to each other. Sniff test clothing instead of doing laundry. Complain about others speeding and saying they are going too fast for no reason, but giving ourselves a pass because what we are late for is really important. Google an unrecognizable number rather than just answer the call to find out who it is. Looking at the toilet paper after a wipe. Looking in the bowl, it very likely comes from our ancestors checking their shits to see if there was a health issue. Looking at toilet paper after wiping is also a strong indicator if you still have shit in your ass. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.